I screwed up. I am not a happy puppy. Right, back from my holidays, away for 6 weeks, and I'm back, and look what I've got on my bench. A bright, actually very nice guitar, I'll call it, right? It's called a Dola. If I had $1 for every one of these I had on my bench, I would have $1, because this is the first one I've seen. It's actually a 5-string mandolin. I think it's handmade. I don't know that much about it. I tried to look it up, but I couldn't find anything on it except for someone playing one. Now, the guitar itself's in lovely condition. I don't think there's any scratches on it. It needs a bit of a cleanup. The frets need a bit of a cleanup. There's not much wear on them, and the strings need cleaned. But what it does have, and let me just switch on the amplifier, is, come on. Oh, no, right. When I first switched it on, it had an amazingly bad buzz. But the buzz is not there. So it makes me think that there might be a loose wire. There's no buzz at all. But when I first plugged it in, you see, you're living and learning with me. You never know what you're going to get. But it was a very bad buzz. Touched the pickup, went bzzz. Touched that plate, it went bzzz. There's nothing there now. Ooh. Can I turn around and say, I fixed it? No, I can't. I've got to find out why it's buzzing. Anyway. Hear the crackling and the switch. But I've never heard. Yeah, everything's working, but the buzzing's gone. Well, I'm going to have to take this all apart to find out what's gone right, because I need to find out what's gone right so as I can make sure it keeps going right every time. So, no, nothing. Jack. I need to make it go wrong so as it gets to be going right every time. Let me just... Nothing. Right, okay, I'll come back to you when it's in bits. One little bit of research. You touch that, it buzzes. Right, that's the live coming up through the amplifier. The earth would be there. But whenever I do this, touch this and that. Well, let me just see how am I going to do that and hold the camera. If I touch that, so I need to earth this plate. That'll reduce that down. You can see once I earth myself, and maybe put a little bit of shielding around that, because that's nice cable, but it's not shielded. But that's not the problem. That's only a part of a problem. This is a very neat and nicely made guitar. When I lift it up there, they've used good quality cords, and there's no buzzing in there, and everything looks nice and neat and tidy and well soldered. What I think I am noticing, but maybe I need to check 2 wires there, and well, no, there's more than 2 wires going back in there, so this I'll have to check to see if it's earth. I'll use the meter on it, but you see, but I'll check to see if it's metered. But there's very nicely good quality switches, nice soldering job, a switch that I could use for another job which I'm looking for of that width, but it says 3P patent pending, and I don't know what 3P is, so I'll have to look that up and find out. Overall, it's a nice little guitar. Still can't find what was causing the main buzzing, but it could be something to do with these being dirty, but rare. All right, looking more and more like it was a temporary fault, because if I put my meter on here, let it sit there, and touch it to the earth, you'll see that it's this is earth, right? And if I touch it to this, yeah, organize yourself, but order ostay. You see this earth to there as well. Oh, sorry, did you get to see that? That's earth to there as well. So there's a good earth connection from there and there. So it has to be, because it went away, because the buzzing went away, it has to be something to do with the dirt and the switches there. But what I am going to do is I'm going to shield these, give them a bit more protection. I give them good rattles and everything, so it looks like there's nothing loose in the soldering or cross-wired. You know, it looks all very nice and neat. And there's, when I move that about, move the wires about, there's no buzzing or anything like that there. So it has to be something to do with the switches, I hope. Luckily the gentleman who owns this doesn't live that far away from me, so when I do all this and put it back together and it starts to buzz again, he can come back again. I should be a very happy person, but I am far from being a very happy person, because the owner's going to kill me. Right, frets cleaned up, fretboard cleaned up, polished, all the frets lovely done, and everything is in beautiful working order. Right, switch on the amplifier. Everything's working beautifully. Actual fact, listen to that sustain. It goes on for ages. It's beautiful. Now I can't play the mandolin, and the fretboard's too narrow for me to play even a couple of chords. But this switch, still crackling, but this switch caused me such grief, and it's made a real problem for me. I'll tell you in a second. But it needs to be worked rather than anything else done to it. These switches, working lovely. But I am so unhappy because of my own stupidity. I thought this was a more modern type of guitar, and I used switch cleaner on these two knobs, and a drop of switch cleaner went on the guitar. But what the person who made this done, he's used nitrocellulose with no protective coating on it. So we have a stain there, which is not good at all on a lovely little guitar like this. So I tried to clean it up as much as I can, and I made more of a mess, as you can see from up there. And I tried everything I could, but I couldn't get it cleaned. As you can see, the lighter stain there when you look at it from an angle. And also the switch cleaner dripped on the back, and it's got the same problem. And the only cure for this is to respray the guitar. So I'll have to break this bad news to the customer. Guitar's working beautifully. Mandolin guitar's working beautifully, but I screwed up big time. I did such lovely soldering everywhere and such good wire work. I never thought to cut the wires and then screw the things, or I couldn't even protect it because I wasn't expecting this to be unprotected paint. So totally my fault, and I have to make an awkward phone call to the customer now. I am not a happy puppy. I explained earlier what happened with the switch cleaner, and I screwed up. There's so many things I should have done, but I didn't. The guitar has got a nitrocellulose coating, And I knew that nitrocellulose coatings, they're old-fashioned, but a lot of people still use them. I had known that nitrocellulose coatings can be very susceptible to chemicals. But a lot of nitrocellulose coatings should have a coat of matte or clear lacquer over them to protect them. This didn't. So when I cleaned the switch, the nozzle dripped onto the finish and you saw the results. Fortunately, the man who owns the guitar is a super nice guy, really nice guy. So he's quite happy to take it back the way it is, but I'm not happy to take it back the way it is. So he's going to give me the name of the chappie that made the guitar. I'm going to try to contact him to find out what color of orange it is. But failing that, I've also ordered some crimson orange stain to see if I can maybe reduce the effect of the stain that was caused by the drip of the switch cleaner fluid going onto the finish. But I don't think that's going to work because there's so many different colors of orange, and there's orange pearlescent, and there's all sorts of things. So it may be that we'll get the guitar completely resprayed, because bright orange is it's a lovely guitar, lovely color. It's a beautifully made guitar, but the owner will come back to me and with the name of the man who made the guitar and see if we can find that orange color if he's still around. But if not, we'll take it someday and we'll get it completely resprayed to the color that the owner may prefer, because there's a tortoise shell scratch plate on it with lots of deep rich colors in it, and maybe if we put a complementary color from one of the rich colors of the tortoise shell on the thing. But that taught me a lesson. I didn't want to strip the wires and take the switches out to clean them, but I should have put something over the guitar to cover it. So my bad, but it's not finished with. It will be fixed. It guarantee we'll fix it someday once we get through all the different experiments that we need to do. All right, ciao. Yeah. Love that chord.